get enough uric acid if you do not get enough uric acid when you're pregnant, your kid has a higher chance to be born with a birth defect.
Good job, Gerardo. Good job, good job, good job. All right, my two readers did a really good job. Let's go ahead and get your Chromebooks out. Take your Chromebooks out. Let's go to page 110 in our ebooks. Let's go to page 110 in our science ebooks. 110. Thank you again to my readers. You did a really good job of taking notes. Let me have a volunteer to raise your hand and let me call on you. Tell me what is the title of page 110. What is the title of the section we're about to begin with?
Better living through chemistry?
Better living with chemistry. Absolutely correct.
For living through chemistry. What materials do you encounter every day as you get dressed and head to school? Where do these materials come from? Plastic, nylon, and glass. You won't find these on the periodic table. Yet these substances are part of our daily lives. Substances like plastic are called synthetic materials because humans synthesize, make them. Materials scientists and chemical engineers figure out how to combine and rearrange atoms of substances to create a new substance that is stronger, cheaper, safer, or otherwise more useful.
Question. What are synthetic materials?
Things that are man-made.
Things that are man-made. Good answer, Madison. Let's turn to page 111. 111.
You can't make something from nothing. Where do these scientists and engineers get their ingredients? Earth's natural resources provide the raw materials for everything you see around you, from cell phones to medicines to rockets. Starting your day. Let's start right at the beginning of the day. Your phone alarm beeps and you silence it, rubbing your sleepy eyes. What's the phone made of? The screen is made of glass that is mostly silicon and oxygen. Humans first made glass by heating crushed sand or a mineral called quartz with other substances. These natural resources are still used to make some modern kinds of glass.
Question. How did human beings first make glass?
By heating up crushed sand.
Absolutely correct. Let's move on to the next page. That's page 113.
The circuitry of the phone relies on several metals, including copper, gallium, gold, indium, magnesium, palladium, platinum, silver, tin, and tungsten. These elements are extracted from rocks and ores. After processing, they end up in your phone. Petroleum products. You crawl out of bed and make your way to the bathroom. On the shelves are dozens of products to help you get ready for your day. What are they made of? Shampoo, hand lotion, nail polish, and sunscreen all have something in common. They include ingredients made from petroleum. The bottles holding these substances are usually made of plastic, which is also made from petroleum. Hairbrushes, combs, toothbrushes, hair dryers, shower curtains, and even the toilet seat are typically made of plastic. That's right, petroleum again.
Question. How is petroleum formed and made? How is petroleum formed and made? Madison.
Did it come from dead plants and animals?
Absolutely correct. Dead plants and animals. Turn to the next page.
What is petroleum? It's not an element, so it's not on the periodic table. The raw material for petroleum came from dead plants and animals. Their remains were buried hundreds of millions of years ago. Instead of decaying, these remains changed into petroleum, which is made mostly of carbon and hydrogen. It is also called crude oil. This natural resource is mined or collected. It is a non-renewable resource because it was created by geological processes that take many millions of years. A refinery separates the crude oil into different products. Each product is a different combination of carbon and hydrogen. Most of the refined products are used for fuel. Fuels include gasoline, which powers cars, trucks, and buses. Other refined products include oils, waxes, and raw materials for plastics and medicine.
Question. How many years does it take to form crude oil?
Millions of years.
Absolutely correct, millions of years. All right, let's turn to the next page.
Materials scientists and chemical engineers figured out how to create plastics from petroleum. They changed the way we live. Instead of packaging shampoo in a glass bottle, how about using plastic? If it slips out of your wet hand in the shower, there won't be any broken glass to hurt your feet. Plastic means that food can easily be packaged for eating on the go, using plastic utensils. Plastic means that hospitals can store clean equipment in sealed packages, reducing the risk of infection. Medications. During allergy season, you might take a pill to clear your sinuses. What are the ingredients in this synthetic substance? Many medications are compounds built from different amounts of the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, with a few other kinds of atoms mixed in. Biochemical engineers use chemical reactions to create these new substances. Medical researchers test new substances and help the engineers decide what to create next.
Question. What are the three main elements in most medications? What are the three main elements in most medications?
Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen.
Perfect. All right, let's turn to page 117. 117. All right, when you look at page 117, let's look at the three think questions. Let's take a look at the three think questions. Everyone should have the three think questions written in their scientific notebooks, and they should be answered. Let me have a volunteer to read that very first think question and your answer. Madison.
What are some benefits of using synthetic materials? They are easy to make, they are easier to store goods, are safer and cheaper to make.
Good answers. Anybody else want to add to that? Question number 2. Let me have a volunteer to read question number 2 and then give me your answer. Phoebe, read question number 2 and give me your answer.
What are some drawbacks of synthetic materials? A drawback of synthetic materials is that they are non-biodegradable, which mean they cannot be decomposed into the earth.
Phoebe brings up a great point. Anything that's plastic, it does not degrade very fast. So let's say if we don't recycle it correctly, it winds up in our oceans. What happens?
Like, animals could end up, like, choking on it or getting stuck in it, and that'll just kill them off.
Animals could choke on it, they can get trapped in it. All right, if we over pollute our oceans, what will eventually happen?
We won't have any clean water to drink.
We won't have clean water to drink. Anybody else want to add to question number 2?
Slowly, like, ruining the ozone layer.
We could slowly ruin the ozone layer. Tell me how we are slowly ruining, currently, the ozone layer. Tell me how that's happening.
From carbon dioxide from cars and from factories.
Absolutely correct. Carbon dioxide, we're putting more carbon in the atmosphere than the plants can use photosynthesis to create air with. So when we put more carbon into the atmosphere, what happens?
So carbon dioxide is used to trap the sun's heat in the world, so it's overdoing that, and they can also end up dying of stroke.
So what's the term called when you have too much carbon in the atmosphere? What's the global term called when, as humans, we placed a lot of carbon in the atmosphere?
Climate change.
Climate change. All right, good answers, good answers. All right, let's look at question number 3. Let me have a volunteer to read question number 3. Question number 3. Madison.
Why are reusable grocery bags gaining popularity? Unlike normal grocery bags, reusable ones don't end up in landfills and add pollution like the normal ones do, so you can reuse them instead of just throwing them away.
Absolutely correct. All right, let's talk about petroleum products. Petroleum products are made from what?
Dead plants and animals.
That is correct, Lincoln. Dead plants and animals, which create crude oil, which creates petroleum. Good answer. Is petroleum / crude oil a renewable resource? Lincoln.
No.
Tell me why it's not, Lincoln.
It's not because it takes thousands of years to make, and it's not something that a lot of people will be alive for again.
So once, yes, Madison.
So eventually, once all that runs out, because if it was made millions of years ago, it is limited. So after it runs out, you're not going to do it anymore.
And that's exactly where I was headed. She makes a great point. It's a non-renewable resource because once we've used up all the crude oil within the earth, that's it. We're done. So if you save some of those petroleum products, do you have the opportunity to lengthen the finite amount of petroleum products that we can use into the future? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me why.
Because if you save the oil products, that will leave more, which means that they'll spend less. So in the future, they can produce more.
I like that answer, Gerardo. I like that answer, Gerardo. Would anybody else like to add anything to it? Madison?
So if you're reusing it and not just creating more to dispose later, you're using less of it, and therefore that'll once the products that you're using eventually become unusable, because that will eventually happen, you will have some to repeat the process.
Okay, let's take it a step further because you're absolutely correct. You and Gerardo are absolutely correct. So let's take it one step further. How can we as human beings continue to have plastics, petroleum items? How can we continue to have those items even if we run out of crude oil?
By recycling them.
Absolutely correct, Lincoln. By recycling. That's why recycling is so important. How many people live in Hidden Valley Lake? Raise your hand if you live in Hidden Valley Lake. All right, how many trash cans do you have in Hidden Valley Lake? How many trash cans does every household have in Hidden Valley Lake? 3. All right, let's name them. What's the first one?
Trash.
Trash for just trash. What's the second?
Green waste recycling.
The green trash can. What's the third?
Blue.
The blue. What's the blue for?
Recycling.
Recycling what?
The plastics.
Plastics and glass.
Plastics, glass,
The green one is for green
and
waste.
paper.
And cardboard.
Plastic, glass, and cardboard. So, we're already starting to try to conserve some of these petroleum products by recycling. That's what we're going to have to do to sustain our own ecosystem for the entirety of the earth. Because at some point, as Madison pointed out, as Gerardo pointed out, we have a finite supply of earth materials that we can use. So the best way is to conserve and to recycle. Great answer.